My name is Susan Ashworth. Earlier tonight, I swallowed a whole bunch of pills.
Hi, my name's Lydia, and today I'll be reviewing The Cat Lady. While not this game one would generally associate with the horror scene, being that it isn't all this massive gore and jump scares like many titles from the undoubtedly oversaturated horror genre, this graphic adventure definitely packs a punch, and because of this, it's quite difficult to drop until you complete the story. So I'm just gonna get right into it. The Cat Lady is this pretty odd psychological indie horror developed by Harvester Games, which focuses on rather mature topics of depression, death, and hopelessness in a way that does these heavy topics justice. However, despite the overriding theme of hopelessness and depression, moments of humor, especially through Susan's abundance of sarcastic remarks, are seen, creating this memorable portrait of the main character, which I personally found incredibly refreshing.
You can come in if you promise you're not a lesbian.
A lesbian? I told you I had a boyfriend, Miss A. Where do you get ideas like that?
I don't know. It seems everyone is gay these days.
As I just mentioned, Susan Ashworth is the main character of this adventure. She's a pretty atypical main character in my opinion, in the sense that Susan isn't strong or attractive, energetic and boisterous, or particularly interesting at face value, as most protagonists typically are. She is portrayed as this lonely middle-aged woman, overwhelmed by her crippling depression. Her only friends are her stray cats, and she has a strong dislike for flowers.
Is this supposed to be my reward? Flowers?
Regardless of some of these qualities, she's extremely witty, dark-humoured, and sassy. Oh, and another thing, she's immortal.
I have prepared a special gift for you. Immortality.
What? This is the last thing I wanted.
Personally, I think this was a very clever core mechanic. A suicide victim with immortality is also quite an ironic concept, which in itself adds another subtle layer of humour to an otherwise pretty depressing game of catch the serial killer, whilst consequently trying to avoid death yourself. The art style in this game is eye-catching in all the right ways, and evokes some pretty strong emotions at certain times. From the occasional monochromatic backdrops with hints of reddish hues, to sometimes entirely coloured sets, they work extremely effectively in portraying Susan's mental state. For example, as she encounters her first parasite, the room around her is completely coloured, perhaps emphasising how alert she is of everything. Whereas, when she encounters sad memories of her past, the area around her warps and words appear and disappear, the only colour in sight being her own red dress and a bouquet of flowers. It's a mix of hand-drawn art and real-world photography. Scenes and backdrops are carefully constructed in such a way that you're still startled by a consequence, regardless of whether or not you saw it coming. So a small letdown of this game would definitely have to be the audio and character animations. The volume levels seem all over the place. There's plenty of popping through it, and it sounds incredibly hit and miss. As well as this, immersion is also destroyed by the puppet-like animation, where characters have these sort of floaty, papercraft limbs and the joints are detached and pivot independently of one another. Sometimes it works, but far too often it breaks immersion. It's almost comical at times, which isn't necessarily appropriate in some scenes. Whether all these designs are by choice or down to budgetary limitations or technical inability, I don't know, but they continually put up barriers between yourself and any kind of immersion within the game. Regardless of any faults this game has, it's definitely worth a playthrough, even if it's just for Susan's comical remarks. Besides, there's a reason it won Best Story in the 2012 Adventure Gamers Awards after all.